I think this is rather funny because I only talk about this particular thing because we're going to see it coming here to America. And I would suggest that it will be equally as comical when it comes to the total economic ineptness of Washington and Capitol Hill. But right now in the Eurozone, there's a flood of cash that is pushing borrowing costs to unusual low levels in Europe. A flood of cash. Too much money in the markets, creating what some are saying is kind of a strange phenomena, really. The European financial crisis is continuing to spiral down in crisis, and some companies are now borrowing at lower rates than those set by the European Central Bank. I don't understand how this is a strange phenomena. Let me just explain to you how it works, European Central Bank. And I would suggest, because we had years of a central bank under Ben Bernanke that never figured this out. And you'll remember, if you listened to me back then, how comical all of the actions taken by the Federal Reserve during the 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12 financial crisis were. The idea was, well, they were going to stimulate borrowing and they were going to infuse cash into the markets. And that stimulating borrowing was going to turn the economy around. What it did was it turned the economy to 50-year lows in labor participation. Therefore, the unemployment rate appeared to be much better than it really was because you had a 50-year low in labor participation rate, which the Obama-Biden administration was trying to say, well, you know, all the baby boomers are retiring. So they try to give this impression that the baby boomers were all sitting on the beach or playing golf somewhere, when in fact, the highest unemployment rates and the lowest part of labor participation rate that we saw were coming from the age group of 22 to 55, hardly considered baby boomers. But they always left that part of the equation out. So everybody was walking around loving President Obama, believing that, wow, isn't this crazy? All these baby boomers, they must be loving life. They're all retired. They're playing golf. They're sitting on the beach. They're hiking and doing all those things they wanted to do. The reality of it was, and we have confirmation of this and testimony to it, as a result of the incredible thriving economy that we had under the Trump administration. But we seem to forget that. Now the Eurozone is flooding the markets with cash. And here's why there's so much cash available. Nobody's borrowing. Oh, yes, the borrowing rate is extraordinarily low because of so much supply. But they're leaving out the fact that there is little demand. They're saying, well, that there's only a few assets to invest in. Really? So companies aren't considering themselves an asset, and they're not considering investing in themselves an asset, I suspect. Right? I mean, I don't know what else to think. So we've got a Eurozone that is filling and flooding the markets, flooding the markets with cash. But there seems to be a strange phenomena. I'll tell you what the strange phenomena is. The economy stinks and nobody wants to borrow money because business owners, small, large, in between, are smart enough to understand that this is not a great time to get into debt. Will we learn any lessons from this? Of course not. Just like Europe didn't learn any lessons from us. from 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. I guess we'll throw that in there. So why would we take any lessons from ourselves back then? Because we think it was just some sort of phenomena. Because surely Ben Bernanke was way too smart to have made this kind of miscalculation. No, Ben Bernanke couldn't get his nose out of the textbooks long enough to put his ear to Main Street. And if he did put his ear to Main Street, he wouldn't have known what he was listening to. And the Eurozone's now doing it. But it's a strange new phenomenon. Hey, remember to click the subscribe button right here on the screen. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when new content is added. And more importantly than anything, you don't want to miss all 3 live hours of Financial Issues every day from 9 to noon. And you can watch it on FISM.tv. That's FISM.tv.